Overcoming is a show that sees us bringing women together in discussion about a challenge that they are either currently going through or have overcome. Basically sharing a pain, holding hands, crying together and healing together, hoping that this will inspire somebody currently going through tough times. Well, let's see what today's episode has in store for us.
My name is Kisumwe and I am a young mother. I'm here to share my story on how I lost the father of my child 3 years ago, and I hope that my story is an inspiration to many women out there and also men who have gone through losing their partner and having to raise a child alone. So I want you to know that whatever you go through also you can eventually overcome.
Hi, my name is Kharata Mashaha. I'm a young widow who lost her husband 2 years back in 2016, and I intended to change the story that widows go through, to tell the story that it's not about what you go through, but how you go through it. And I'm here to let widows know that there is a life after losing a life partner.
Welcome back as we continue to discuss overcoming the death of a partner. Still with my ladies, Kesero and Khorata. You know, you just mentioned a very common element of our culture, and you know, I'm very curious and I'm wondering where that could possibly come from. And I also want to find out what that is from your perspective, having been unmarried. The element of in-laws after, you know, the death of their loved one. But I'm sitting here, generally, you know, and it's such a pity. You know, there is always that insinuation. Did you experience that somehow, you know, especially talking about how they just vanished out of nowhere? Could it have been that, or was it a case of you reminded them of their son, therefore they wanted to stay away from you? Please just let me know how the analysis has been for you.
Okay, and I'll try to keep it as short as possible. I remember I just had a chat with my dad just recently, just called me and he's saying, I'm hearing that you are on radio, either you're on newspapers or you're doing this. And he's asking me, what are you talking about? And I said, no, Dad, I've just gone through this thing and I feel we just keep quiet about it and we're not doing anything about it, and I'm helping widows outside. Unfortunately, I sit with one widow, we are just singing one song. And what is that song? Unfortunately, in Africa, when a man dies, he's being killed by a woman. Absolutely. We can't run away from it. Yeah. Whether they sound it at the funeral, whether they don't say it, the actions of in-laws most of the time always say it. Absolutely. And personally, I went through that. They didn't say it, but I had to sit back and make it out. We kill our husbands, and that is the way they see it, and that is why they go away.
The benefits, what exactly? Because even in cases where there really isn't much to benefit, because we're looking for those financial benefits. So like I sit here and I'm like, but why would I kill the one closest person to me, like the one person who is my present and future? You know what I mean? I don't know, what was your experience as far as interaction with the in-laws, as much as you were not married after that?
For me, one thing that appalled me and shook me was the fact that when the father of my child died, our son was only 5 months old. And the only thing I needed from them was emotional support. Not much, because he wasn't working, he was self-employed. So really, there isn't much of a benefit that we're always looking for as women. Now we love genuinely for the heart. There wasn't really much to benefit, and there was not even a plan in place to say, after Ketsama, this belongs to you, this will stay with Adrian, and I got nothing. They vanished as well. Like Naibile, I think because young and I'm so outspoken, I sometimes try to reach out and or at least dina go mohela gore go nkatla le ngwana le gore ba mmone re ba spend na go le ene aba itse gore no, this is my other family. But no, they just vanished and they were just always unavailable. And I reached a point where I was like, you know what, you're just a mother and a father to this boy. Raise him the best way you can. And I did that.
Thank you very much. I love the fact that you're touching on being a mother and a father, because I wanted, you know, this was actually brought up by my mother yesterday. She's like, you know, there's certain like things that your partner does that at times you find that we take for granted. And I can only imagine having to assume those roles and responsibilities once he is late. So was there anything that you found that you had to now assume because your partner was unavailable? You're talking about being a mother and father, you know. So can we please just get into that?
All right. For one, I always wanted a daughter. For one solemn reason that would always go do our hair together. Now there comes a son. Koreano, it's not even about plaiting our hair together. It starts even with the haircuts. How I talk to him now changes. Koreano, I'm raising a man. Now I can't talk tenderly. Something that nobody ever prepped me for. I can't come popinyana. I have to bring bolo dikolo. Now I have to be this firm parent also who can relate to the son, and it's something that how is you applying too much pressure. And one thing also, it's got to deal with because we stayed together before we had a child, and I got to learn so many things from him. Like there was a time and he took a pot, poured water in the baba thing, and the water got cold within a matter of 10 minutes. These are things that I learned. And then yesterday, because I had just moved out of my mother's house, and you know how bachelorette with bakes and you don't cook. And so this time around, I'm going to buy a stove and gas and start cooking, whether I'm a bachelorette or not. I found myself struggling to connect gas cylinder to stove. I just stood there last night. I looked at the cylinder. I was like, what are you doing to me? What are you doing? I was reading the instructions to connect the but now to get there's that thing that you turn on. That part everything I'm guessing from the stove. The regulator. The gas
just about to say the modulator.
So and you know what? I put it down, get the cornflakes, and I put milk, and I ate, and I went to bed. I was like, I'll deal with this another day. And these are things that I know for sure. Baby,
and you're not even watching as he's doing it.
These are the things like I was so shocked at myself the other day. And I'm like, yeah, no, can I have to make amends? Where to from here? Again, and these are things now that I have to now do because basically there's no. And one thing that really for me, I think was so easy for me to love this man was the fact that he let me be. I, for one, I'm not so hungry for marriage because I believe marriage is a union that you enter and you're going to live with that person for the rest of your life. So first I need to know your character. I need to know how well you will accept my flaws so that I can also do the same for you. So the one thing I've always taught him was, let's learn to live with each other first. He had proposed and I said no. And he said, why? And I said, because we need to know each other. We need to know what as I sleep on my pillow. I need to know that you can be able to listen and understand the type of person I am first. And that is what he did for me.
I love that. Horata, can you relate to any of those? Is there anything that, looking back now, you're like, whoa, that was his role. But I find that now I have to be both the man and the woman of the house.
Yeah, Hannah, I was married for 14 years. Sorry, 10 years. 4 years we were not married yet. And he was a homemaker. You talk about having to build a house. I just sat down.
Of course.
He would agree in terms of financial planning, and then he would just go out and do everything. And when he left, one thing that really I found myself one day just crying was the cars.
Oh,
how I had to learn how to change my tire. Somebody had to come and say, moraka. All those things, you take care of them. And for me, that was one thing that really said, if I take care of these things, I would have just safeguarded his identity. He would live on. And I ensured Hana from teaspoon to maraka to pudi to everything. I took care of it.
Wow.
And I remember one friend just making a remark to say, you live like a man. I nearly cried. It was so painful because it's hard having to wake up on Saturday and knowing that I have to wake up at 5 o'clock, you have to, on Friday, you have to run, go agri shop and go and buy milimoyeo. I get in, I ask, I call his friends and say, okay, fine. but it's not easy, but I've tried to manage through it all.
Wow.